quarter.
There you go. Good look now, tack.
Abby Brooks, 10 now in the first quarter left. Ellie Van Mennen with it with 6. Peyton Hayes, 4. Ball fake, 3 up at 2, and
nice,
good.
Nice, great way to finish right there. Peyton Hayes knocks down the 3 ball.
Welcome back, everybody. It's our MPTV Coaches show. Ryan Lindley, Brian Dieters. It is winter sports time, and we'll start with wrestling. They got off to a great start, dominating dual meet win to open their season. And obviously, you always want to start fast. And wrestling, I mean, obviously, one of the more intense physical sports you're always going to have.
I mean, the utmost respect for those young men and women who are involved in that sport. I know firsthand, my dad was a wrestling coach and wrestled himself for years, so can gain a real appreciation for the difficulty, as you were saying, of what those guys go through to get themselves prepared to compete, and then just in the moment, the amount of exertion that occurs when you're on the mat. But, you know, we've had a program with a storied success here at Morton High, and, you know, I've been talking to some of the kids, and we've had numbers out there around, you know, don't get the exact number, but around 50 kids or so out for the program. So, I mean, this program is alive and well, and so that's, of course, a testament to the community and to the coaches, and so.
Yeah, no, I mean, congrats to them. I mean, again, they got off to a great start. We look forward to seeing them compete the rest of the year. I mean, obviously, Middle Illini is you would probably fairly argue the top wrestling conference in Central Illinois and one of the better wrestling conferences probably in the whole state.
You know, I wouldn't pretend to be able to know a lot of those details, but undeniably there's some great programs. Washington certainly has been up there, and even places like Canton and those historically has had some powerful wrestling. So.
Yeah, so let's stay in the gym. I guess we're mostly going to be in the gym as we talk winter sports. So the bowling is going to get going.
11 degrees outside.
Yeah,
so it's good to be
and bowling's going to get going soon, but that's inside too, thank goodness. But let's talk basketball, and let's talk boys basketball first. Boys went to the Washington Tournament Champions. Was kind of a tough 3 games. They went 0-3, but they played 3 really good teams. I mean, that's kind of that build yourself up. You may not get wins, but you're going to learn a lot.
I think so. I mean, yeah, you want to win, but a sport like basketball is a lot like my experiences coaching soccer, particularly early. Like, you're not going to really get penalized to be playing a really tough non-conference. In football, you do have to have a certain amount of wins to get to the playoffs. A sport like basketball, you want to be playing your best basketball at the end. You want to make sure you're ready to start your competition in the conference. And to go out and play these teams with these national rankings from all over the country is fantastic for this group, particularly this team, I think, because of how well they did this summer, the amount of talent they have coming back and experience they have coming back. So I don't think it's, I've talked to a few of the guys, and there's certainly a confidence about their, situation moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, experienced group, one of those really experienced guys is Wes Gudeman. The Potters did get a win on Tuesday over Pontiac, but maybe even more exciting, Wes scored his 1,000th career point. And after the game, our colleagues Troy Dowell and Alex Staub had a chance to interview Wes. So let's watch that.
Congratulations, number 1.
All right, so let's start with 1,000 points. Obviously, I'm sure in the perfect scenario, it's probably good that it happens this time of year, right? You don't have that rain on you all season.
For sure.
What was that like?
Of course, 1,000 and this early is an incredible milestone. But it's even more special to me because 3 years ago, my grandpa passed away on this exact day, and he was my biggest fan. So it's even more incredible that it worked out to be on the exact day, and I wouldn't ask for it any other way. And then, 2 years ago, I got in a really bad car accident. So on this exact day, December 3rd. So December 3rd has always been a pretty bad day, but, it's just, it's incredible that it worked out to be on this exact day with so many bad things. It's just awesome how it works. So that adds a little extra meaning to it for me.
Well, it's been a great day for you today, Mark.
Thank you.
It really puts it in perspective, obviously, but just talking about this game, though, and how this team's really clicked. Obviously, after the Tournament of Champions, I'm sure you guys knew. I mean, that was really good competition.
For
So just kind of speak to bouncing back off of that.
No one in the gym at TOC thought we'd even be able to compete with those guys. So, we 2 single-digit losses, and then Vashon was a lot closer than it was on the scoreboard. So, we walked away with that. We didn't really take them as losses. We took them as lessons. Just what do we need to improve on against the best competition. And, we came out here. We knew that, it's a young Pontiac team that graduated a lot of guys, but we handled it how we should with the team that we know we are. And we weren't hanging our heads on the losses. So, our eyes are just always forward. We look back, tomorrow we'll look back on the film, see what we could have done better, and our eyes are always forward. So we're set on Canton and then Peoria High and then, the big one at Metamora.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't think there's too much to look back and improve on tonight, right? Tonight was just
Absolutely.
a really outstanding performance. And, it is tough, right? I mean, you go into that TOC tournament, you're playing outstanding competition. You're competitive. Mm-hmm. You do lose, but but it's hard to lose 3 games in a row, right? It's just hard. It's hard when we have such high expectations for this season. So, again, you kind of touched on it, but what other takeaways did you take away from that tournament that you thought you really wanted to bring forward tonight and play with a lot of confidence?
A lot of it was just controlling the pace. That was like on a basketball term. That was just like we thought we controlled the pace against the best teams in the country. Top 20, top 75, and then Vashon will soon be ranked nationally. And we controlled the pace, and we didn't let them speed us up or slow us down for the most part. So we came out here just knowing, right, we're going to dictate how Pontiac's going to play and how fast and slow. And, just as a locker room thing, it was just more of, it spoke to the group. We talked as just no coaches, just as players, just about, listen, guys, these 3 losses don't define who we are. The last team to go 0-3 in that exact bracket was the Metamora team that won state. So
there you go.
We were just we talked and we're like, listen, we're not hanging our heads about it, and we're going to come out and we're going to show that against Pontiac. So
was it nice though to not? I think the Gibbs team, didn't they have a kid that was 7 foot and 6'10" and 6'8"? Yeah, it had to be nice to be out there when you're playing down low to not see that much height out there. Right?
There was one where I think I missed 2 or 3 layups in a row and just kept grabbing my own rebound. I was thinking, I was like, man, that was not happening a week ago against 7-2. So it's definitely nice to be back to being one of the bigger ones. But I also enjoy the challenge of going up against a giant.
Yeah.
I think one of the unique elements with tonight was the playing time that was able to be had for others. I think one definitely I want to talk about with you is Preston Sledge, kind of talk about how obviously his role has changed from last year to this year, but how good it was to get those playing time from top to bottom of the roster.
I think one thing that makes us so highly touted throughout the state is our depth. I think we've got dudes who can go at anyone, and if you took our next 5 besides the starters, they would be a competitive varsity team. So, Preston, I kind of got on him at TOC because he got in at the Vashon game and we were getting beat, pretty handily, 15, and he caught it. And I was on the wing and he just passed it. And I was like, listen, you are one of the best shooters on the team. I was like, if there was one thing I was gonna put you in there for, it's gonna be to shoot the 3. And and I talked to him about it, and it made me really happy to see him come out here, and maybe a little bit hesitant at the start, but just to start pulling and show that because he is one of the most skilled players we have for sure. And when he starts showing that, he's going to be a real piece that we'll be able to throw in. And I'm really glad he played the way he did tonight.
Conference opener on Friday. Just you're surmising your thoughts on where the team's at going into open in the middle on ice slate.
It's a pretty decent Canton team. They've got the good auto kid, they got a shooter, and then they've got some bigs. But we're just the mindset of just going and take care of business. We know man for man we're a better team, and our goal is just to show it. That's a conference win is always important. That's always a championship game to us because ultimately that's what it leads to. So, we just plan on going back here at the Potter Dome Friday and just getting another one in the win column.
Amen to that. Wes,
yeah.
you got one more?
No, I was just going to say, impressive win tonight. Great team effort. We're certainly proud of you, keep it up.
1,000 points. That's kind of like, for people that don't know, that's kind of the gold standard for basketball. If you can hit that 1,000-point mark in a career.
That's a lot of points for a high school basketball player when you think about what you may be playing 30 games a season. Typically, if you're a really outstanding player, going to be playing sophomore, junior, and senior year. So, of course, that's 90 games. You do the math, that's some serious double-digit scoring day in and day out. So it's a great accomplishment. So congratulations to him. And of course, we're just getting started with the season, so he's got a lot more points coming.
Absolutely, and the Potters are playing at home on this Friday night against Canton. That game is, of course, in the Potter Dome. It is also on MPTV and the NFHS network. Jeff King and Mike Kraft are going to call that, so if you can't make it to the Potter Dome, 7 p.m. tip-off, make sure you tune in. and watch those guys. And then let's wrap up by sticking in the gym and sticking with basketball. Girls basketball's 3-1. They had a tough loss to Pleasant Plains right at the buzzer on Monday night, but 3-1 start. You know, I mean, it feels like the program's in its typical good spot.
It seems to be that way, right? I mean, I know they started with a demolishing of one of the local schools and continued to do well. Had the hiccup this week. Not that Pleasant Plains is this terrible loss. I know that they have had a lot of success, particularly in girls sports, as a smaller school outside of Springfield. So nothing to be ashamed about, you know, things to work on. I was talking with one of the players today actually in the hallway. I was like, you can learn a lot more from a loss. And she kind of agreed. So I'm sure that's something that Coach Becker, who's been doing it a long time, will be talking about. And they'll get better as a result of that loss.
Yeah, I don't know who said it, but there's some coach I remember said, you know, we don't lose, we learn. And I think especially for Coach Becker with a lot of experience, but still relatively young experience, you know, a lot of sophomores that played as freshmen, but they went from being, you know, the fourth or fifth player, or even maybe coming off the bench to now being maybe the go-to players. I think there's a lot of learning left to do for him, and I think he appreciates the opportunity to teach these kids and build them up into that Lady Potter dynasty we always kind of expect.
There you go. He knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. 600 some odd wins.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly Coach Becker's total, but I was at the game last year when he won his 600th. So over 600 career wins. I think he knows what he's doing.
I agree.
So we'll leave it there for now, but obviously, you know, winter sports are going, and so we're going to be back these few weeks here as we lead up to the Christmas break. Obviously, we'll then take a break during that break, but a lot of excitement in the Potter Dome. And one other sport that we're going to talk about over the next couple of weeks is going to be our bowling teams. Boys and girls bowling just getting started as well. So for now, for Brian Dieters, I'm Ryan Milling. Goodbye, everybody.